Yo, what's going on? This is Eric Bellinger, and you're chilling right here on the Biz with D.
All right, everybody, thank you for all tuning in to the Biz with D. Of course, David Dwayne, My Fierce Wings Radio, MyFierceWingsRadio.com. We got Eric Bellinger, who is a phenomenal R&B, songwriter, singer. He definitely is doing the damn thing. Had placements with Brandy, worked with Rita Ora, Kelly Rowland, Usher, Chris, Beaver. Just a phenomenal artist doing big things. How you doing?
I'm doing incredible, man. Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate you guys, and just happy to, be doing my thing and working hard and finally, starting to see the fruits of my hard work, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, we thank you for coming on the show. We could not have not had you. At first, I'll be honest with you, at first we didn't know who you were. We saw your name buzzing like a couple of times on Twitter. Who should we follow? Because you verified and everything. I was like, I don't know who this is. But then I did my research. I'm like, okay, Eric really has got something going on because he's driving this song with so-and-so. Got this song called Never Be Lonely. And then these placements, too, which I had no clue of. And I'm like, got to get you on.
Oh, man, thank you.
Definitely. So, let's talk about I first want to talk about some of the songs that you've written, which happen to be my favorite. Brandy's Without You.
Uh-huh.
And B. Smith, Let Go. Phenomenal artist there.
Thank you.
Phenomenal song.
Nah, thanks a lot. The Brandy joint was definitely like a dream for me because, I grew up studying Brand and listening to her and making sure I can do all things and, all that kind of stuff. So that was definitely just, incredible, opportunity, and then, how people a lot of times meet their, who they look up to, like their celebrity or their idol. Like, I was always nervous. Like, I wonder how she's going to be when I meet her. And I met her, and she was just a genuine person. She received me very well and was just excited to be working with me. So that was just definitely a great experience. As far as the B. Smith record, that one just kind of came about. They were like, yo, it's this new kid. He signed to Motown, and they're really excited about him. So I saw some of his YouTube videos and went in with a couple guys on the track, and then they loved it. So next thing you know, they was like, yeah, we putting 2 Chainz on it. I was like, wow. Beautiful. Let's get it then.
Definitely. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you really know, but those are 2 records right now that have got people really, going nuts right now, especially Without You with Brandy. From her performing that with BET Honors, there are so many people saying, Brand, that needs to be the single. That needs to be the next single. Do you see how much people are buzzing about these 2 songs, or have you really not noticed it too much?
You said how many people do I know that what?
Have you noticed that, everybody has, really been, buzzing about the song? It's a lot of hype behind it?
Oh, yeah. When we first, because we didn't know if it was going to be a single or not. So initially, I was just really excited to, be on the project, to have worked with Brandy in the first place. Then I started seeing the tweets, when you put out the project, people are able to respond and give you the feedback for the songs. And there was a lot of people responding to that song in particular, especially different celebrities. Like I know India Arie had, tweeted and said that's her favorite song on the album. It was just one person after another. And we spoke with her management. It was like, yeah, that's going to be the next single. And, she's performing it at the BET Honors. So I was just excited, you know what I mean? Because I just been working so hard. And it's crazy because I do music for fun, for a hobby, for work, all of that, So I really don't expect anything of it initially coming out of the studio. So I just, work. And then it's crazy to see when it all catches up to me because I just get calls left and right, back and forth, like, okay, cool, so the song you did that day, this is what's gonna happen with it. The song you did that day, you know what I mean? Like a deck of cards just getting flushed, passed out. Like, okay, cool, so that's going here. Okay, that's going here. So it's exciting, man. I don't really worry about, getting the songs and the albums. I just do good music, and I feel like the songs find a home.
Definitely. And the fact that they just come full-fledged out as a songwriter first, more so coming out as an artist. That's great because, I'm checked out a couple of different interviews, and you even said it yourself that somebody was like, "That's where the money's at," and behind the scenes is where it's really at too. So that's very smart of you for making a big move like that. Because I mean, look where it's taking you and the response to the records. I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that was a big help. It was definitely a plan that me and my management team came up with, as opposed to just, because I'm from LA, so a lot of people actually move to LA. So LA is really, really congested with a lot of singers, a lot of songwriters, a lot of artists trying to make it. And this is Hollywood, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's so many people here. We had to do something to where I would stand out, as opposed to just being at all the different venues, performing with all the different acts, doing all the same things. So what we did was just took the back door in, kind of like Dream, and Neo, and, all those cats did. And it's definitely worked out for us. Everything that we planned and set out to do, we've been knocking it down. We put a timeline together, and everything is just, on point. We got a structure going, and we knocking down each goal one at a time. So it's feeling pretty good,
Let's talk about how your journey began coming out as just an artist when you decided, since everything on the writing note is, good, let me come out as an artist. What gave you the initiative to just be like, boom, it's time?
Well, I was actually doing that side of things first. I was, doing all the, I was actually doing singing groups, and I had been signed to multiple different labels and, different situations. And I always loved being on stage, but it came a time where I was just like, you know what, I want to separate myself and, try another angle. I didn't want to put all my eggs in that one basket, so I'm like, let me go over here and do some writing. And the writing just took off, so I just kind of let that go, and I didn't want to stop it. I had a couple of opportunities presented towards me, but the writing was just so promising, because it's like once you do one big song, another big artist is going to call you. And once you do another big song, another big artist is going to call you. So it's like once I started doing pretty good, it just kept getting easier and easier, and more doors kept opening. So we didn't want to, knock those opportunities. So we just kept it pushing. And it got to a point where I feel like we worked with everybody that I really set out to work with, like, Usher and Chris Brown and Justin Bieber, Beyonce, like all these people is like, okay, where else can I really go? You know what I mean? So at the same time, we still keep the door open, but we were like, okay, cool. We think it's a good time to focus on my career and kind of go back to what my first love was, that got me started in the music in the first place.
How you kind of really got started was the fact of growing up and your grandfather being a songwriter, working with like Jackson 5 and stuff like that. I mean, knowing that you grew up listening to music, and then you had somebody who was definitely involved, wrote some tracks for real. I mean, how does that make you feel to now look at yourself and to look at your grandfather and just kind of see how does it all feel for you?
It feels good. It's crazy because, like, I was never really trying to do music at all. I was only trying to play football, and that's it. You couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be a professional football player. I would be around my grandma and my grandpa all the time, and my grandpa had, like, the full-blown studio, and I remember always going over there and watching him record, but it was never too much interest in me. He had his songs, and my mom would tell me a whole bunch of stories about, him being in his band and him touring and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I don't know, I just kind of looked at him like, wow, that's great. But once I actually started doing it and started singing, it became, I kind of saw where I was getting it from because, my mom sings as well, and that's my mom's dad. So,
right.
I don't know, like studying his music and, listening back and forth and my mom telling me the stories, it kind of made me, a little more intrigued, and it made me want to do a little more homework on my grandfather, you know what I mean? So it was like, once I actually looked into it, it wasn't until I realized that it was just in my blood, you know what I mean? And that things were coming natural to me because my mom had been singing my whole life, my grandpa, I grew up singing in church, and it was something that I really just couldn't hide from, you know what I mean?
So when you write your music, where do you find the inspiration?
From the track. Every time.
Okay.
A lot of times, I don't know, I just, if I don't find anything in the track, like if I don't hear a mood or a vibe or a concept within the track, I really don't write to it. I'll just say, you know what, I'm not feeling this one. Let's go to the next track. And a lot of times, the caliber of producers that I'm working with, they'll have a million tracks in the list ready to go. Like, okay, how about this one? How about this one? And it's kind of like aim, shoot until, you know, both of us just hit the target. And it's like, okay, cool, that's the one. And once I find a track, it's off to the races because I don't think anymore. I just like, okay, cool. I'm going to just listen to the track because I feel like the emotion and, you know, the movement of the instrumentation and all that, it gives me the song automatically. I just have to listen and think about it and put it together like a puzzle.
Speaking of putting things together and music, I mean, about a couple weeks ago, you dropped the music video for Never Be Lonely. Phenomenal joint. Can I just ask how you came up with the concept for not only the music video, but just the song in general?
I think that kind of goes a little bit with Kendrick. I think Kendrick had did a song, the Poetic Justice song that had the Janet Jackson sample in that. And for a minute, I was just like, man, that was my favorite song. So I was like, I was looking for songs. Like, what song can I do where I can flip it? What song can I do? And when I heard that beat, we were honestly just playing around like, oh, man, that song goes over this beat good. And it was like, why don't you do it? And then I don't know, a lot of times when you're in the studio, you just be joking around, and the things that are jokes become what people love, you know what I mean? And in that case, especially since it was just a mixtape joint and just a joint to give me some buzz, we weren't really too worried about trying to get anything cleared, to sell it or anything. So it was just like, man, let's just do it, have fun with it and see what the people say. I reached out to Amber Riley because she's a really close friend of mine, and she did an amazing job on the track. We shot the video and just put it out, you know, just to really get some feedback, and it's been incredible.
I mean, I'm looking at comments on YouTube right now. People were saying they will buy it on iTunes. People, they love it. You got vocals. I mean, it's just so much great feedback from it. I mean, you really got it going on right now, seriously, with these different projects. And I mean, you have a series of projects, and it's called Born to Sing Volume 1, Volume 2. You got Volume 3 coming out on the 15th of April, just 12 days before my birthday. So that'd be some nice, good music to chill out to my birthday.
Definitely.
So, what made you just want to go with the concept of, you know, Born to Sing? Because, I mean, it's dope, because I feel like you were definitely born to sing. So, you know, kind of tell us about the concept behind it.
The concept Born to Sing actually came to me, a close friend of mine who I started doing music with. His name is Corn. He was just like, yo, man, we were just having a conversation and talking about how I initially started off thinking I was going to do football, and it was just randomly in conversation. He was like, nah, man, but you was born to sing. You was born to do this. So then from then on, we just kind of ran with it. So the first mixtape was called Born to Sing, just Volume 1, and then when it was come time to do my second mixtape, we was thinking of different titles to name it, and we was like, why not, you know, give people a series so that, you know, later on or whenever down the line that I actually, you know, pick up and people are really starting to check for it and I built up enough buzz, people know that there's a track record that they can go back and find old music from me, you know what I mean? And I made sure that each project was all classic projects so that if you go download Born to Sing Volume 1 or Born to Sing Volume 2 right now, you definitely won't skip a beat, you know? So that's pretty much how that came about.
And I mean, you just dropped the song and you dropped the artwork. Let's talk about the song that just dropped, which is, I mean, it's a phenomenal record.
Oh, you're talking about Inception, right? With
Inception.
Yeah, that joint actually, man. It's all good. That joint just came about. I was just in the studio and I was working on an album, and we just came up with this song, and it was one of those ones that I was actually kind of saving because it was just such a great song, and I loved it so much, and it had, you know, Mario and T-Pain on it. I was gonna kind of save it for my actual album when I put that out, but some people got a hold of it and just kind of put it out. At first, I was a little upset, like, oh, you know what I mean? I was saving it, but the response has been so well from it. I haven't really been tripping lately because it's like doing a lot better than I thought it would. So it's actually, you know, doing a good job to help create more buzz for me to actually release Born to Sing Volume 3. You know, it's gained a little bit of attention to, you know, open a few people's eyes to say, who is this guy? And then, you know, they follow the movement. So can't be too mad.
Right. And I mean, you mentioned the fact of, you know, kind of being a little bit upset with the song leaking. I mean, nowadays songs leak, but what is your opinion on like songs leaking nowadays, just in general?
I think that title has just gotten raped. You know what I mean? Like, as far as just putting music out, I think that's just what it is. But initially, it was like for what actually happened with my song. Like, it literally was out of my hands and, you know, just came out. But nowadays, I think the internet and everything has been so accessible with the social networks and people being able to, you know, pay attention and put things out with just instantly, you know what I mean, that they just say, oh, let's call it a leak, and that's just kind of what it's become. And it's the same thing as just releasing a song, but that word leak is just the word. I don't even know why it's the word, but you know what I'm saying?
Do you feel like the word is a little bit overused? Because I feel like it is.
Yeah, I think it is. I definitely think it is. But I mean, I don't really see what people can really do. I think that's just kind of the thing until someone does something different, you know, that doesn't make people feel like they need to do that or whatever it is. You know, same thing with mixtapes. I feel like there's so many mixtapes coming out, but it's like you just got to do whatever you got to do to make sure that yours stands out apart from the rest. You know, there could be a million leaks, there could be a million mixtapes, but I feel like the great, you know, project or the great body of work or the great song will always stand strong, you know, amongst the rest.
So let's kind of talk about your fashion style, because like you got a mixture. Like it can be preppy, it can be urban. Fashion style.
Oh, I would definitely say casual, like dressy casual, with still urban at the same time. I definitely want to give people the imagery of, you know, Temptations, old school R&B, but at the same time, you know, I have a hip-hop feel to my music, so you'll see a blend of the two, you know, at all times.
Besides the new mixtape coming out, what things do you have in the works that we should definitely look out for?
Well, I just co-wrote on Chris Brown's upcoming single. It's called Fine China. Wrote on that with Seven and Rockstar and Chris Brown. And that record is definitely incredible. Definitely in the studio with Usher right now. And those mainly, but definitely just the Born to Sing Volume 3 and the videos and the visuals and vlogs and different things, just prepping the artistry stuff.
Right, definitely. Well, we're looking forward to that. But I almost forgot to ask you about this one joint that you wrote, because I go like ridiculous hearing the song. Music Sounds Better With You, Big Time Rush. Can I say like that is like the most played on my iTunes? Like no bullshit. Like that is my song. Can I ask what you were thinking when you wrote that? Because it's just real feel good, and it definitely sounds like a record that it sounds like you. Like for anybody that's listening to your music, people who are listening right now that don't know the record that I'm talking about the record that Eric wrote for Big Time Rush, Music Sounds Better With You. Check that out, and then definitely check his music out. You can tell why I say it sounds like him. But what do you like with that song?
Well, I think that one, because a lot of times I try to make sure that my sound is in the song so that, you know, people can still, you know, revert back to me, and, you know, I feel like I'm trying to put myself out there within other artists, you know what I mean, when they hear them, so that by the time they hear my sound, they'll already be accustomed to it, they'll already be a little bit used to it. So the beat, I feel like that beat was automatically so pop that I was able to just do a cool melody, you know, a little bit more urban, and I feel like their voices aren't my voices, you know, so that they would sound like, you know, a pop boy band, and the track and everything. Because it's like, if I had to try to write a pop song, I don't think it would have been cool. I think it would have just been corny. But instead, I gave them like a cool, hip melodic joint over a pop beat, and their voices were pop. So it was something that people, you didn't know why you loved it, but it was just like because it still has that soul to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just these guys performing it, and it's just a feel-good beat.
Definitely. I mean, I heard the record. I'm like, who wrote this joint? And then I'm just going through your website and everything. And like, no, he didn't. Because everybody knows me knows I be on my BTR lean. But don't tell nobody that. They might think I'm a little crazy. I'm serious. You can say something to somebody and they be like, oh, I don't know. He sound kind of crazy. He might be a radio host, but he might sound a little stalkerish. No, but that song.
Nah, man. I feel like music speaks volumes. You know what I mean? Like I was out with a girl the other day, and I was just asking her what kind of music she listened to, and I was surprised, to hear the I would have never thought, that she whatever she has said. You know what I mean? It's like everybody speaks, differently. I mean, music speaks to everyone differently. So it's like, whatever it is, I feel like music is a universal language, and, you know what I mean? No matter what, everybody can pull something different from different songs,
Definitely. Well, Eric, I mean, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great speaking to you about just you, the songs you've written, the things you got going on right now. I mean, do you have any final remarks before I let you go?
I just want to make sure everybody is ready April 15th to be right by the computer to download Born to Sing Volume 3. I've been working real hard on it, and I feel like it's my best body of work yet, and I'm excited to hear people's feedback. So that's pretty much it. So until April 15th, I'm going to be waiting to hear what y'all say, because it's going to be a great project, and I'm really excited to finally have it out. I've been working on it real hard for a long time, so here it is.
Definitely. We'll be playing the songs from it, so just got to tune in and stuff like that. Keep us posted with everything, because we definitely want to be keep up to date with you.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm going to be releasing different visuals. Like the first single was called ASAP. I just shot the video for that, so that's going to be out within a week or two.
Oh. Can you kind of tell us the concept about that, or should we just kind of wait to see it?
Well, the song's called ASAP. Single's basically, talking about a girl saying I need her as soon as possible. But I did a nice little flip on it, real smooth, hard-hitting, joint for the ladies and the fellas. A lot of times, R&B singers like, this is for the ladies. You know what I mean? But my music is definitely gonna appeal to both crowds. I wanted to make sure that. So yeah, just a great joint, man. Just quality sounding R&B,
Definitely. Well, we're looking forward to it. Tell everybody where they can stay up to date with you, like as far as your Twitter, your website, your Instagram. Shout out.
Yeah, everything is just Eric Bellinger. Twitter at Eric Bellinger, Instagram at Eric Bellinger. My website is ericbellinger.com. And everything is on there. There's links to my Facebook, links to my Tumblr, links to all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, ericbellinger.com. Check me out. Stay tuned, stay updated, and Born to Sing Volume 3 on the way.
Definitely. Well, like I said, thank you again, Eric, for this interview. We do appreciate it.